And even you, Shatrughan, the younger brother of Lord Ram, you will not be able to conquer him as long as he's got this Trishul in his hand. So we have to catch him without his Trishul. And when is that? Well, in the morning he goes hunting with just a spear, shul, just one. Trishul means three, you can understand. With a shul, that time you may be able to conquer him. So they arrived in the morning, and here comes Lavanasur with his shul. There's a tiger, a lioness, python, jungly baraha, what do you say? Jungle boar. All these things were on his shul. That was going to be his breakfast. You don't want to hear about lunch. And Shatrughan stood forward and said, I am the younger brother of Lord Ram, and I challenge you to a fight. And Lavanasur began to laugh. I needed some breakfast to go with my some dessert to go with my breakfast. He's let me go get my weapons. He said, no, I challenge you to a fight now. How can a Kshatriya fight without weapons? You're just making excuses to run away because you're a coward. What did you kill all these animals with if you don't have any weapon? You're just a coward. So the Lavanasur became furious and he threw all those animals after that shul and it began a big duel with Shatrughan. And finally they were ripping trees and throwing trees and boulders, and the fighting became so furious that Shatrughan lost his consciousness. And all the demigods were watching from the clouds. They all began to cry, alas, alas. Now, did you ever hear anybody call alas, alas? I never did. But anyway, all the books say. So hearing the demigods cry, he came back to consciousness. He pulled out a special arrow that Lord Raman gave him from his quiver. When he pulled that arrow out, the earth began to shake. He put it to his bow and pulled the string. Then meteors appeared in the sky and jackals began to howl. And thunder and lightning all over the earth. And Lavanasur got ready with his shul. And he shot that arrow. And it says it making a sound just like a peacock in flight. It flew through the air. Have you ever heard of peacock in flight? You mainly heard the peacocks. But sometimes on Prikama we come upon a peacock and surprise it, and it flies away. So just like a peacock in flight, the arrow flew through the sky, hit Lavanasur in the heart, and he fell down dead. And some people say this is why all the water of Vrindavan is salty. Of course, we know it's from the tears of the gopis, but anyway, some people say from Lavanasur's blood ruined all the groundwater. So then Shatrughan made his kingdom there. He called it Madhupuri, and eventually became Mathura, because Madhuvan and Mathura, they're practically right now. Excuse me. They're practically right next to each other. In fact, on Braj Prikama, this is one of our favorite walks. We walk about 4 or 5 kilometers, and we're from Mathura to Madhuvan. Because sometimes we're walking 22 kilometers, 23 kilometers. This is a favorite walk. We just walk 5 kilometers, we're there in Madhuvan. So he made his kingdom there in Mathura. So there's a very interesting temple of Shatrughan there. After you come to Dhruv Tila, you go inside the village, and there's Krishna Kund, where Krishna and Balaram and the cowherd boys used to play. Of course, that's Dwapar Yuga pastimes. And sometimes we sing one song, Radhe Sham Sham, Radhe Sham. Jaya Madhava Madana Murari Radhe Sham Shama Sham. So that has one verse, Madhuvana me Rasa Rachaya. Madhuvan, sometimes in the springtime, because we know during Kartik time, that's when Ras Leela takes place in Vrindavan town. So Madhuvana Rasa Rachaya. Madhuvan, Krishna was doing Ras. So this is springtime sometimes. So that's Dwapar Yuga. But anyway, just near Krishna Kund, there's an interesting temple of Shatrughan with his wife Shrutakirti. And it didn't used to have a dome on it, but I have a friend from Calcutta named Avadut. And whatever money he makes, he invests it in Braj. Right next to Krishna Kund, there's the Dauji temple. And he's made this beautiful, astounding black, because it was just tiny little deity of Dauji. So he made this big black deity of Dauji. He installed one Kartik. Next Kartik, he installed Revati and Baruni, Lord Balaram's wives. And now he's building, it was just tiny little broken down temple. He's building a nice temple that got interrupted by this pandemic. But now the work is starting up again. But he also built a dome, big tall dome on top of Shatrughan temple, because there's no dome there. So there's some steps, you have to go up the steps, and then you can take darshan of Shatrughan and Shrutakirti. And just outside, there's one Brahmin's house, and they never let me, as soon as they see that Baba's come, they immediately start making rotis. And they won't let us leave without taking rotis and sabji. The wife's name is Radha, and she won't let me go, but now she's staying with another relative inside Mathura because it's close to the hospital, because she's very old, has many medical problems. But her daughter-in-law, Yasoda, she's continuing it. So as soon as they hear, one of the little kids will come, they say, "Oh, Baba's here, Baba's here." They'll make nice rotis, and we'll serve nice rotis and brishvazi sabji to all the devotees there just at the foot of Shatrughan's temple. So anyway, this King Vena, he was reminding me of Lavanasura. He prohibited all the Brahmins, and so that's why I remembered this pastime. He was just the same like that. So Shatrughan took over as king. So anyway, there's so many wonderful pastimes in Vrindavan. And so we invite you all to come sometime. We'll take you on Prikrama, show you these places. Hare Krishna. So is there any questions?
We see in this past Maharaj Anga, when he had there was, as you described as well, a very frustrating situation with detachment. So I'm curious, how do we make sure that frustrating situations in our life lead to genuine detachment and not to resentment or aversion that actually lead us towards detachment?
Well, we have to take shelter of the devotees. We always have to have association of devotees, because by ourselves is very, very difficult. But excuse me, I sneeze and my nose begins to run. So that's why Prabhupada created this international society. Society means there'll be so many devotees. And we're meant to help one another. That's why we have a society, so we can help one another to become Krishna conscious. Not like on Facebook, we're shooting everybody down. We're meant to help each other become, because in the material world, there's always so many frustrating situations will come. Because Krishna has stamped it in Bhagavad Gita, Dukalayam Ashashvatam. It is temporary and full of miseries. Stamped by Krishna. So we're always going to meet some type of frustration. But we take shelter of chanting, we take shelter whenever somebody was having trouble. Prabhupada increased your reading, hearing, and chanting. That was Prabhupada's formula. Whenever somebody would write to him or come to him and tell him he's having difficulties, increase your hearing and chanting. And associate with the devotees. We always have to have some friend with whom we can confide, just like we know in the Nectar of Instruction, it says one should reveal his mind in confidence and things like that. We should have some older devotee or some devotee we trust that we can reveal our mind and they can guide us in Krishna consciousness. And the other way around, those who are older devotees, we have to help the younger devotees. So many, this material world is going to be frustration after frustration. It's not that now we started Krishna consciousness, now there'll be no more problems. Always going to be problems. Because Krishna himself has stamped, Dukalayam Ashashvatam. It's only Dukalay. It is a place of miseries. Is that all right? No more questions? Everyone fell asleep in my class. Anyway, if Arjun comes back, we've got 2 books, Brajlila Part 1 and Part 2, which all these pastimes are there, because we just followed the Prikrama path around and told all the pastimes. And it's not formal writing, but it's the way I talk, that's the way the book is. In fact, Arjun ran off to bring the books. When he comes back, he'll have the books. So the 2 books, the set is, we're just asking 20 New Zealand dollars. And I'm also here to sign. There he is. I'm here to sign it if anybody wants a copy. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So these are the 2 books, Rajneva Part 1 and Part 2. If anybody wants to send them, you can also sign them.